Right now, in this very moment, a silent war is unfolding inside the mind of every ambitious person alive. No audience, no applause. Just a relentless psychological battlefield where discipline fights temptation, vision clashes with doubt, and the future of your life is quietly decided in the dark corners of your own thoughts. Most brilliant founders do not collapse because the market rejected them. They collapse because something inside them slowly betrayed the mission. A quiet voice that delays, doubts, rationalizes, and slowly dismantles the empire before it is even built. There was a time when your mind burned with unstoppable momentum. Ideas felt limitless. The future looked like open territory waiting to be conquered. But now, something feels different. The same vision exists, yet the energy to pursue it feels buried beneath exhaustion and hesitation. The enemy is not outside. It is not competitors, critics, or circumstances. The enemy is the reflection staring back at you every morning. The war is silent. The battlefield is internal. And the conflict repeats itself every single day. At 2 a.m., when the world is quiet, the weight becomes undeniable. The unfinished plans, the delayed decisions. The haunting awareness that your potential is still sitting untouched, waiting for a version of you that has not fully shown up yet. What few people realize is that nearly every rise to greatness and every fall into mediocrity can be traced back to a single psychological truth, an ancient framework that has quietly governed human behavior for generations. And once you understand it, you will begin to see your struggles with terrifying clarity, because at the center of this invisible war lies a simple story that has shaped the fate of countless lives. This is the story of the two wolves inside you. Every ambitious person begins with the same quiet hunger, the desire to build something meaningful, wealth that creates freedom, a life where discipline replaces chaos, and the mind becomes unbreakable under pressure. This pursuit is not greed. It is the natural instinct to rise beyond ordinary limits and design a future that reflects your highest potential. Inside that pursuit lives the first force, the good wolf. It is calm, patient, and rarely loud. This wolf represents discipline when nobody is watching, the ability to delay pleasure, control emotions, and continue building when progress feels painfully slow. It is the architect of legacy, quietly laying one brick at a time. But within the same mind lives another force, the bad wolf, seductive, persuasive, and dangerously convincing. It speaks the language of comfort. It feeds the ego, whispers excuses, amplifies self-doubt, and constantly pushes you toward easy pleasure instead of meaningful progress. This internal split creates an exhausting daily reality. You sit alone in front of your screen. The plan is clear. The task is obvious. Yet an invisible weight presses down on your chest, turning simple action into a heavy psychological battle that feels far larger than the task itself. Many ambitious people fall into the same trap. They believe motivation will save them. They watch powerful speeches, consume endless inspirational content, and assume the surge of emotion will permanently silence the darker voice inside their mind. But this conflict is not philosophical poetry. It is neurological warfare. Every habit you repeat strengthens one network in your brain while weakening another. Every small decision feeds one wolf and starves the other, shaping the direction of your life in ways most people never realize. The tension you feel is not weakness. It is the entry fee for greatness. Every legendary founder, investor, and creator has faced this exact internal battlefield. The difference is not the absence of conflict. It is the decision to fight through it and keep feeding the wolf that builds the future. The entrepreneurial path rarely unfolds the way it was imagined at the beginning. Bank accounts shrink faster than expected. Markets move unpredictably. Friends begin to question your choices. And somewhere in the background, time keeps ticking with quiet, terrifying consistency. The bad wolf thrives in this environment. It studies your stress and begins whispering logical-sounding arguments. Maybe you deserve a break today. Maybe the timing is wrong. Maybe lowering your standards just this once would not really matter. Then the modern world offers an endless escape. One quick scroll, one short video, one small distraction that promises relief from pressure. But these cheap bursts of dopamine slowly become a hiding place from the difficult work required to build something real. What begins as one small compromise rarely stays small. One skipped workout turns into a week. One delayed email becomes a missed opportunity. One postponed launch quietly transforms momentum into stagnation, and the dream begins drifting toward mediocrity. While the bad wolf grows stronger from every indulgence, the good wolf begins to starve. The voice of discipline becomes quieter. The vision that once felt powerful now struggles to compete with the comfortable noise of procrastination. And after the brief comfort fades, a heavy psychological hangover arrives. The mind knows what it just traded away. Temporary relief quickly transforms into anxiety, guilt, and the suffocating awareness that time has been lost again. The deepest wound appears when one painful truth becomes impossible to ignore. The ambitious individual is not being defeated by the world. They are slowly participating in the destruction of their own empire, one small decision at a time. Eventually, the pressure reaches a breaking point. There comes a moment when the exhaustion is no longer subtle. A dark night arrives where you sit alone, surrounded by unfinished work, realizing that weeks, maybe months, have quietly disappeared without real progress. In that moment, the bad wolf tightens its grip. The mind grows heavy. Motivation vanishes completely. What once felt like a mission now feels pointless, and the easiest response becomes surrendering to apathy and standing still. Then comes the mirror moment. You look at your life, your work, maybe even your bank account, and something feels unfamiliar. The person staring back is not the driven version of you that once carried unstoppable ambition. The external damage begins to reveal itself. Momentum has stalled. Opportunities have cooled. Money that once funded possibility now feels dangerously thin. Even relationships begin to strain under the quiet weight of disappointment. Many people comfort themselves with a simple sentence: "Tomorrow, I will fix everything. Tomorrow, I will start again." But the terrifying realization eventually surfaces. Tomorrow has been repeated so many times that it has quietly become a lifelong delay. This is where the harsh truth becomes unavoidable. No investor is secretly waiting to rescue you. No mentor will suddenly appear to rebuild your discipline. The current state of your life is the direct result of the decisions you allowed yourself to make. And now only one choice remains: accept the darkness and stay here forever, or rise up and fight with brutal determination to reclaim control of your own mind. In the deepest part of that darkness, something unexpected can appear. Not motivation, not excitement, but a quiet moment of brutal clarity. The kind of clarity that only arrives when the pain of staying the same finally becomes greater than the fear of change. In that moment, an ancient story begins to surface. A grandson once sat beside an old Cherokee chief and asked about the struggle inside every human mind. The elder described two wolves living within us, locked in a constant battle for control. The boy listened carefully, then asked the question that defines the entire story: which wolf will win? The old chief paused, looked at the boy, and gave an answer that has echoed through generations: the one you feed. Suddenly, the entire struggle changes meaning. The chaos is no longer mysterious. The war is no longer random. Every action, every habit, every decision becomes a form of nourishment, deciding which force grows stronger. From that realization comes a ruthless pivot, no longer living according to moods, impulses, or fear. Instead, life begins to operate through systems, structure, and principles that remain stable, even when emotions fluctuate wildly. The bad wolf must now be starved with intention. Cheap dopamine is cut off. Toxic environments are removed. Excuses are silenced before they have a chance to grow. Comfort stops being the priority. At the same time, the good wolf begins to receive daily nourishment. Difficult tasks are executed without negotiation. Discomfort becomes acceptable. Delayed gratification becomes a quiet obsession. And every day becomes another deliberate declaration of war for control of the mind. Winning this war is not dramatic. There is no cinematic turning point where everything suddenly becomes easy. The truth is far less glamorous. Mastery is built through a slow, repetitive, and often boring process that quietly reshapes the mind day after day. The most disciplined builders understand this principle deeply. They design a strict diet for the mind. Early mornings structured with intention, long blocks of uninterrupted focus, and routines so consistent that discipline becomes automatic rather than emotional. But the beginning of this process is brutal. When the bad wolf starts starving, it does not disappear peacefully. It fights back with force, flooding the mind with resistance, doubt, and the intense urge to escape the discomfort of real work. This is where the most important skill emerges: emotional detachment. Instead of obeying every feeling, you begin observing them. Laziness appears, but you continue working. Fear surfaces, but execution continues anyway. Action becomes independent from emotion. Slowly, small victories begin stacking together. One disciplined morning, one finished task, one promise kept to yourself. Individually, they feel insignificant, but over time they forge something powerful, an identity built on reliability and internal strength. As the good wolf grows stronger, reality begins to bend in subtle ways. Focus sharpens, opportunities appear clearer, momentum returns. What once felt overwhelming slowly transforms into a rhythm of progress and control. Eventually, the internal war grows quieter. Discipline becomes the default state. The mind operates like a fortress, calm under pressure, focused on execution, and naturally aligned with building the kind of success that once felt impossibly distant. In the end, this ancient story reveals a truth that modern success often tries to complicate. Wealth, freedom, and powerful leadership are not built only through strategy or opportunity. They are first won through the silent conquest of the mind. The two wolves are not mystical forces. They are raw human energy. One drives discipline, patience, and creation. The other feeds comfort, distraction, and slow destruction. Neither is born stronger. The difference is decided entirely by what you allow to grow. And here is the sobering reality. The battle never truly ends. Even the most disciplined founders continue to face it daily. But with time and relentless practice, you evolve into a far stronger warrior, capable of carrying immense pressure with calm control. If you look closely, your life already tells the story. Your bank account, your physical health, your focus, your habits, all of them are quiet mathematical reflections of which wolf has been receiving the most nourishment. But there is also powerful hope hidden inside this truth. No matter how long the wrong wolf has been fed, the next decision you make is a completely new moment. A single action can begin shifting the balance again. Every second offers that same power, the power to choose discipline over distraction, growth over comfort, creation over escape. Your future is not controlled by luck, it is controlled by what you feed with your daily actions. So now the question becomes simple. Which wolf will you feed today? Leave your commitment in the comments below. Subscribe to continue mastering your mind. And remember, true greatness is a daily choice.